back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm recording it without my face because it kind of makes more sense for you guys to look at my screen today. Initially I wanted to have a little video about how do I do my notes, and then also kind of incorporate that video into also how do I make my Ankis and the entirety of the process. I'm just now taking a break from studying for my exam, and I thought that maybe this is the best way to really try to be a little more consistent with my YouTube videos. As you guys know, I haven't really been consistent. I am more consistent with answering your DMs, that's for sure. But I thought I will maybe make it a little shorter. I think it's just a little easier and faster if I just do maybe one at a time instead of bunching it all together. So today I thought I will do a little video about Anki methods. I've already recorded it before, but then I was just thinking about it. There are some things that I've learned, and I think I will just redo the whole thing because it makes a little more sense. So let me just dive straight into it. So first of all, this is Anki. If you haven't heard of Anki, now is the time for you to learn about it. Basically, Anki is a flashcard application that you can download, but it's empty. I think that's something that a lot of people confuse when they first download Anki. They're like, where are all the flashcards? They're not there. Sorry. But Anki is an amazing tool. It helps you create Ankis, and it's relatively easy. At least the ways that I will show you are relatively easy and for lazy people like me, or as I like to say, energy conserving. So you will see how to do them in this video. So here we go, Anki. When you just search it up on the web, first thing you see is apps Anki web. There are a few things to consider. First thing to consider is that the desktop application is free. You don't need to pay for it. I'm not sure about Android so much, but I know for iOS you do. You have to pay for it. There's a small one-time fee, and from what I remember, I don't think you have to pay again. Just for the sake of it, I will search it up. Here, there's a $25 one-time payment for your mobile phone if you're using iPhone, and for your iPad. There's only one-time payment because it is linked across your devices unless you have different iCloud linked to it. And I don't know, I'm assuming it's free on Android, so if you are an Android user, congratulations, it's free for you. Although Anki Droid, I don't know why it's called Anki Droid. I don't think this is the original app. Although the official website has oh yeah, right here you can even see it's written by a separate group of people. It's based off of the free Anki desktop. So I'm assuming there was no Android version, and from what I can see here, it is free. I know there's also Anki Droid on App Store as well. I will just search it up for you guys so you guys can see. There's this Anki app. I know there's this Anki Notes. I think Anki Droid is also available on your mobile phone, but that's irrelevant right now. Don't want to confuse you guys too much. So again, if you have an Android, you can use this one. If you are using Mac platform, if you're using Windows, Linux, whatever, the PC version, basically your laptop PC version, the desktop version, is free for use, so there's nothing about it. You click download, it links you down. For Windows, you download it for whether you have 10 or 11, and obviously download the latest version, that will be the best. Then of course you have one for Mac, you have one for Linux, you have links for iPhone and Android devices as well. So when you just download Anki, and I want to show you an example of it, and I think I've done that before, but I will just kind of repeat it again. So basically what you usually have is a clean slate. It will not really look like this because you will not have this portion of the screen at all. These are the add-ons that I have. What you will have is this basically saying deck default, and there's nothing. And I think that's what confuses a lot of people from the very beginning. They're like, what do you mean I finished the deck? I didn't even touch this. So what I would recommend you to do is not get too frustrated. Just chill for a second. And let me show you how it's done. So here you have the deck. I don't know why my chair is so squeaky. Jeez. So okay, you have this, like, it says deck, you have new, you have learn, you have do, and you're like, oh my god, what is happening? This is so complicated. No, it's not. Chill. So you go like add, obviously, because you're trying to add something. And here, this is where mine will not look like yours. And if you guys want a specific add-on, you can add it, and I will explain it later in the video. But here is where you have to make sure you don't mess up, because when you have it from the very beginning, you just have a default. And if you start adding to the default, you will have a mess. And you don't want that. And I'm not saying my Ankis look better, but you don't want a mess. But what you want to do is you want to create a deck. I usually do something that maybe will be a little idiotic from a perspective of the Anki creator, but I think a lot of people also relate to what I do. I create folders. So I will be like semester 1. And you'll be like, why the hell would you create a one for the one semester? Well, watch and learn. So you have semester 1, and let's say in your first semester you have anatomy, which I'm hoping most of you guys had that or have it. And then you see that they are now separated, and it doesn't make sense. I'm trying to create these decks into little folders because that makes sense for me. You don't have to do that. If you're more comfortable with just having anatomy, you can just have anatomy there. I'm just showing you the way I do it, and maybe if you relate to it, that's perfectly fine, and you can do it. So you have anatomy separately here, but you want it under semester 1 because it makes sense. So you put it right here, and you see like a little line appears, and then you have a plus. You click the plus, anatomy is under semester 1. So then if you, let's say, create also, let me be a little, what is wrong with my typing? Biophysics, and then you also create chemistry. And you want to add all of them to semester 1 because those are your semester 1 subjects. And then let's say you want to combine studying multiple subjects, you can always just click semester 1, and you will have all of these subjects and all of the flashcards you've created for these subjects together in one, where you can study them all together. But you don't have to. Something that I do after this, and I just create basically subfolders. So in anatomy, then I would want to say, let's say, I'm really great at typing today, I don't know why. Upper body. And then you have upper body, and you put it under anatomy. And then your anatomy also has a subfolder. And you can either study just upper anatomy, or you can study the entirety of anatomy together, so you get the hang of it. Something I forgot to mention, maybe I should have mentioned it from the very beginning. When you download Anki from the very beginning, it will work perfectly fine here, but this button here, the sync button, wouldn't work unless you have an account. I don't really understand how this works. You basically just, okay, I'm just joking. You basically just create an account, basically go to Anki Web. Because Anki Web also exists in a web format, you go login. Or like obviously if you don't have one, you will sign up. Click sign up, you create your email, password. That's it, done, simple. You click login, type in your information, you log in. These are all of your Ankis. The same Ankis you will have here once you sync. And here you will just type in your Anki Web ID, your password, same thing as in Anki Web, it's here. If you're wondering about the cloud, nobody knows. It's just basically stored there. Nobody really knows what the limit is, and I will give you a little example of like what my Ankis look like right now, so that it will scare you a little bit. I currently have good question. I have a shitload of maybe that's what yours will look like in the future as well. Hopefully not, because mine are a bit of a mess. They're still in folders, but quite messy. I definitely don't do half of the Ankis I have, but sometimes the method of creation of the Ankis helps me to remember some things, so I don't necessarily have to go back and study the Ankis that I've created. So let me move on and tell you a little bit about how to create an Anki, why Ankis are so cool, and why I recommend pretty much anyone to use them. Let's go back to our new profile. So here we've created upper anatomy and upper body for anatomy, biophysics, chemistry, and just for the sake of it, I will create a deck for molecular cell biology because that's something that I study. It's not under semester 1, so I'll just keep it here. Realistically, what I would do in my profile and what I did, I would just create like semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, semester 4, etc. And I just keep going like this. And of course, like maybe you don't even need them once you've completed the subject, you can delete them. I keep them because sometimes some students from like upper for freshman students sometimes text me asking about notes, and I go like, well, sorry, like I don't think I have notes because I usually delete those. But I do have Ankis, and if you want them, I can send them to you, and that's what I usually do. I will just like export it and send it to someone, no problem at all. So let's go to MCB. So of course, when you click it and you don't have any Ankis there, it will be like, congratulations, you finished this deck, and obviously you didn't, because you didn't have any. So you click add, because that's a logical thing to do. You click add to add a new Anki, to add a new flashcard, right? So let's pull up some notes. Let's pull up notes. I will show you guys some of the things and how it's done and how I generally like it, and I will start with the most basic thing, and it is literally called basic type of flashcard on here. I usually just separate my screen like this because I find it still to be a little more convenient for me to use it. Obviously you don't have to do that. Whatever works for you works for you. So this is what your Ankis will look like. You will have 6 total types. I think this is extra. I don't think you should have image occlusion, but I'm not sure. I will still link add-ons at the end, and I will explain to you what they are in a minute as well. But basically, usually what you will have basic, you will have like these types of basic, and you will have close. I'm not sure about the last one, that's why I'm not mentioning it yet. What is basic? If you ever used any flashcard, you know that there's a front and a back, and I think most of us have used, what is it, quiz? Oh, why am I so bad at this? Not Quizlet? Maybe Quizlet. Yeah, I think it's Quizlet. So if you ever used Quizlet before, you know that there's, a flashcard has 2 sides. One has usually the question, or maybe, let's say, a word. In my case, let's use Hungarian. So we know that Sia in Hungarian means hello. And usually when you make a flashcard, you make, something on one side, something on the other side, you create a card. Simple. What basic is just basic. You have one question on one side, and then you have the answer in the back. Let's make one, because why not? No, we'll show you some things as I make it as well. What is the role of microRNA in inhibition of the expression of mRNA? Yay, we made a question. And then 2 ways to do it. Copy paste, fix it up on the way, because obviously you don't want to be messy. Fix it up, gorgeous, looks beautiful. Second way, if you're like very lazy as me, and if you use Mac, because I feel like it's a little easier on the Mac. Like, I don't really know how to do it on any like Windows run computer. I've had Windows before for like many years, and I was literally just using I was usually just using Windows run systems, PCs and laptops and stuff. And I have never figured out, without an additional software, how to screenshot a specific part. Let's say like I want to just have this part, right? And on Macs it's like very simple. And if you don't know how to do it, it's Shift Command on Mac and 4, and you have this little like run thingy, and you can literally just do this. But then I clicked escape because I don't want to do it. I will show you like something else that I figured some people don't know how to do. So if you do want to copy this, but if you don't want it on your PC and you want it on a clipboard, and why do you want it on a clipboard is because if you want to just immediately paste it here, it has to go to the clipboard. It shouldn't be saved on your PC, but I will just show you. So basically, you click Shift Command 5. Shift Command 5, like for me, it's just pre-saved already. You can do multiple things here. So it will show you capture entire screen, capture selected window, capture selected portion, stop screen recording because I'm recording right now. Then you have options. You can save to desktop, documents, clipboard, mail, messages, blah, blah, timer if you need one. Remembering last selection, that's what I use because it's just normal for me. Here, if you do desktop, And by the way, these options are saved. So whenever you use Shift Command 4, this will be the option that will be saved. I'm going to click Escape again. And I'm going to do Shift Command 4 and I will just show you an example. So Shift Command 4 and I'm copying this part. And then I go here and I will press Command V, and obviously it doesn't paste what I just screenshotted, it pastes the last text I've copied. Where does it go? It goes to your stupid Finder, and it's right here. Here's your screenshot. And yeah, you can just drag it, easy, but who has time for that? Nobody has time for that. So we're just gonna remove that, and we're gonna go back to Shift Command 5, and then you're gonna go to Clipboard. Why you want to go to Clipboard? Multiple reasons. Escape again. First of all, nothing is stored on your PC. Second of all, you can do them way faster. So now you click again Shift Command 4, copy the text. You don't see what you copied, obviously, and you can't really check it on your documents because, again, it's not there. It's on your clipboard, and you paste it. Something important to remember: once it's been pasted, it is no longer in your clipboard. So like if you click Command V here, it will of course work, but normally it just like deletes it from the clipboard. It shouldn't be there. Of course, it's not going to be anywhere in your documents. It's here. So just a little like rundown of how to take a screenshot if you didn't know about it, because I feel like a lot of people don't know how to do it, because obviously like if you're using Mac like on a regular day basis, it's not like you're really gonna use this. This is usually used by like media I mean, yeah, kind of media creators, because like I use it all the time. Still obviously always learning, but like if you didn't know this, it's nice add-on. If you do know this, well, good for you. So okay, whatever. Moving on. This is the basic type of card. So you've created this, you have an answer, you can either copy it or you can insert an image. Simple. Let's say you, so of course, again, then let me just quickly run through this one. Then you have tags. Let's say you want to create a tag from microRNA. You've created a tag, and then when you go to your browser of your flashcards, which I will show in a second as well, you can just search up by the tag. You can of course always search by the deck. You can search by the date. You can search by like multiple different ways basically. So the most useful for most people, I think, is searching by the deck and searching by the tag. Tag primarily because tags just help you to narrow down the questions way more than just searching it up by text, let's say, or the deck combined. I'm quite lazy sometimes into making tags because I don't really find them efficient. I find just searching it up in the browser of Anki way easier. But if you are comfortable with making tags and you like that and you like to be a little more organized, which I'm clearly not, you can use this. So let's just say we keep the tag, we keep microRNA, we think we're done with our flashcard, we add it. I will just show you guys real quick what it will look like. So here, when you click Study Now, you will have the question, what is the role? Here's the show answer. You can just use a space bar to show it for you. Here is the card we've created. And then on the bottom here, you have 4 options. If you've guessed correctly, I recommend to always click good. That's your go-to. Click good, you're good to go, you know? If it was easy, like, oh my God, that was just so obvious. You've known this answer. You keep getting it, but you're sure you know it very well, and you would want to refresh it in 4 days. And you can see here 4D stands for 4 days, meaning that this card will reappear in your deck again in 4 days to make sure you remember. If you didn't get it, you can click again if you feel like it's something that wasn't that bad, but maybe you should have thought about it for like a minute or two. So you click again, and if you think that it was completely difficult, you keep getting the same question, you cannot answer it correctly, you need some time away from this question, you click hard. Quick shortcut: your keyboard signs of 1, 2, 3, and 4 are basically, again, hard, good, and easy, respectively. So 1 for again, 2 for hard, 3 for good, and 4 for easy. So it's very easy to just press the button instead of like hovering over with your mouse or your touchpad. So that's for the creation and the answering. let's continue with creation because I want to go through different types of the cards with you guys. So then we have basic and reversed. I will just go through with you guys like basically through 4 because I feel like the rest are, I mean, kind of useful, but realistically not necessary. Basic and reversed, perfectly used for languages. One, like as I mentioned, let's say see and hello. You will create a card. What this card will basically be is you can either get hello on one side or see on the other. And let's just test it out as well. So we've created the card. You see now it's not one card and it's not 2 either because we've created 2 cards. When you create basic and reversed, you don't create just one flashcard, you create 2 because you create one with one word on one side and one with the other. So let's just see a quick example of that. Now you have Sia, you click spacebar, it's hello, you didn't guess it right, now you have hello and you have Sia. Okay, quick and easy. I will just run with you guys through Cloze. What is Cloze? Cloze is something that I really love for subjects like molecular cell biology. They're amazing for subjects like chemistry at times. They can be really used for anything, and I think you've experienced this kind of question at least once in your lifetime if you ever took any tests. Let's say we take this one. So we have 500 to 2,000 families that have major regulatory role in mammals. And obviously this sentence alone doesn't really make perfect sense, but we don't care because right now we just want to have an example. We want to know how many families have major regulatory role in mammals that, correspond to our microRNA. We want to really learn the number. We want to somehow memorize it, and we don't know how to, but we also want to have a context to it so we can think a little bit about it. I will show you a few examples of some of my cards for Cloze, so you guys will get a little bit of general understanding of it as well. So how do you create a Cloze? So here, when you've selected this text, there are 2 buttons here that you can take a look at. This one is Cloze deletion new card, and this is just Cloze deletion for the same card. What does that mean? I will show you. So let's say you click this one, just Cloze deletion, right? And it shows you this little like C1, 2 brackets on the side, and the rest of the text is like normal, right? So basically what will happen in this card, this part of the text will be highlighted as blue and will only have 3 dots instead of the actual text, so you won't have any numbers in the text when you see this card in your deck, and you will have to answer. So it's either this one, or you can, let's say you want to also hide part of like this word, for example. I will give you a good example later, but let's say you want to do the same card. So if you click the same one, and what means same card means it will be C1 and it will be shown in the same card. So both this part and this part will be hidden in one Anki card. If you weren't to do that, if you were to do this one, it will show C2, which means that this time you don't create one card, you create 2 cards. In one card, this part will be hidden, and another card, this will be hidden, and this will be open, obviously. So like either or. If they both have the same number, they will be in the same card, and if they have a different number, they will be in a different card. And I love Cloze. I just feel like sometimes with Cloze kind of questions, you get very automated. What I mean by that is that you stop thinking, you memorize the answer and you click it, which I think is true for pretty much all flashcards. Instead of actually thinking them through, you usually just say, click, oh yeah, I know this one. Just click good and you are good to go. And that's definitely one of my recommendation for you guys is to don't just memorize. Use your brain. Think about it. Analyze the question. Don't just go with it. Think about what the question is asking you. Think about what are the connections to the rest of the information you've received so far, what you have learned so far. So that will be for the Cloze, and once again I will give you a couple of examples in my Anki cards that I study with. That's for the Cloze, and we have our last type of the 4. I will give you an example from here because I really like this table. I think sometimes we really like tables, and tables are very useful. They help us memorize information that is more organized. And in this case, we have what is basically the summary of like the small interfering RNA, microsomal RNA, like what is their occurrence, like where, what is the length, what is the complementary, what is it complementary, like how is it complementary to the target mRNA, etc., and the action, function, whatever. So you want to memorize it somehow, but you don't want to type in each one, like, oh, what is the occurrence of like small interfering RNA, and then you type in the question. You don't want to do that because it's a waste of time, and who will waste that time? So what do we do? Once again, I've shown you guys how to make a screenshot. You make a screenshot now using this specific section right here. So we go Shift Command 4. You select this specific table. Now it's in your clipboard. Here you go to type, you go to image, occlusion, enhanced. Here you have this little green window. You click it. And what you do, and I think this is relatively easy, but just something to run through. I've mentioned already that image occlusion may not be available for you, and I will show you where to get all the add-ons later. But right now I just want to quickly run through the image occlusion. Basically what image occlusion literally is you're hiding the answer so that you get the card with that answer hidden, and you have to know the answer, and to open the card you will have to just click it, and to remove the mask from the card. So in this case, obviously, ideally, what I would do, I would hide all of them. And then when I hide all of them, I have two options. I have either hide all of them and guess only one. So let's say all of them are hidden and only this answer would be available. Or I can have hide one, guess one. In which case, I will have all of them hidden initially, but when the card arrives, all of them are open and only one answer choice is closed. And that answer choice will be the one that I will have to go through. How does it work? Here, when you just click the green button here, this window opens, and right away you have this rectangle selected. This rectangle is basically like what they want you to use, and I wouldn't recommend to use anything else because it just makes perfect sense. Basically what you do, you hide the answer like this, and you can keep doing it for all of them. If you're lazy like me, you can then click the select tool, select, you can copy, you can paste, and you can just basically move it like this, and you can do it for all of them. Once you've done that, you can do hide one, guess one, or you can do hide all, guess all, and I will just show you guys what hide all would look like. We've just created the card, we close it, we go back to our deck. We see now that we have 4 additional cards that we didn't work through. Blue always indicates the new ones you haven't opened. Red indicates the ones you've gotten wrong, and the blue and the green ones will be the ones for review, which means you've gotten them right before, but now it's time for review. So we'll just quickly go through these because we really don't need them. We want to see the blue ones. So these are the cards we just created. As you can see, this is what hide all, guess one will look like. You are supposed to guess the red one, the rest are hidden, and the good part about hiding the rest of the answers, and in this case just these top ones, so that maybe you don't confuse the two and you don't look at this one and you go like, oh, that's where the mRNA is located, so it's not where the small interfering RNA is located, and that can be kind of cheating in a sense that you're cheating on basically on yourself because you think you know the answer but you really don't. And in this case, this one is hidden, you have to think. You click it. Where does it occur? It occurs naturally in plants and animals. And here's the answer. You either got it right or you didn't get it right. And let's say you're sitting there and thinking, what about microRNA? And you can here click the toggle mask, which will allow you to see that it also occurs naturally in plants and animals. But you should have known that, And this is basically how image occlusion works. I will show you a few other examples of how image occlusion is very useful and where I prefer to use it, for example, and how do I enhance my studies with this method. So basically, like I said, these are the basic cards. There are other ones. You can learn about them. I think learning always helps. And when you're learning about learning, it's even better because you're really enhancing your learning experience. I will just quickly show you guys what type in your answer looks like. Type in your answer basically is like, what is medical school for? And you go like, I don't know, becoming a doctor. And I'll quickly show you guys how it will appear. I think sometimes there's like this little preview window, and I don't know, like I feel like I've had it before, but now I can't find it. Now I will show you guys how to actually search the Ankis, and I will explain to you why it's necessary as well. So you click browse. So we've just created a card, right? You obviously remember the name of the card, hopefully, at least a little bit. So here you will have filter, sidebar filter, either for the ones that are due today, edited, studied, first review, whatever. You can have a flag, because you can actually flag your cards with, you know, specific color, which will make it sometimes easier to both find them and to learn with them. Then you can also filter them by the state, by the deck, note, type, tags. This is why I say it's very useful when you have tags, but pretty much it's very easy to find them, especially when you have a lot of them. You get a hang of it very quickly. Let's say we go to our current deck, we go to MCB, because this is where we've been creating the cards so far. When you have it here, it will say deck, and then you have genuinely have no idea what it's called in English. Not a semicolon. Double dot, whatever. So you have this one here, and if you click a space bar and then you start typing in like doctor, it will search up only this deck for this specific word. And it's perfect because when you have a lot of them, that's an easy way to search up for the information you're searching for. And here you have your card, the one that we just created, and here's a preview. What is medical school for? I don't think I can actually preview this card. Maybe it will be easier if we encounter it here. I will show you guys real quick. Here you see what is medical school for, and this is what the type in is. The problem with type in, I think you have to be very correct in order for it to be like, oh yeah, that was correct, you know. But obviously, you know, to become a doctor, and we're just gonna type in doctor because we're lazy, it will show you that you've messed up this part. But I mean, it's kind of still correct. So like, depending on you, like I would, for example, count it as good. I've guessed it right because maybe I was just too lazy to type it in. Sometimes it's very useful to type in the exact same thing, because depending on what you're doing and what you're learning, maybe the exact definition of a term should be used. But otherwise, it's a very nice way and type of Anki cards, but I think a little overcomplicated for somebody who is studying like for like in medical school. Like you don't have that much time to waste to create these cards. Optional reverse I never really used before. I really don't care about it. It's not so useful. I think for me, my personal favorites are these three, and I really don't care about the rest. That's that for creation. Something else to keep in mind if you want to do these Ankis on the rest of your devices. So like if you want to use it on your iPad, if you want to use it on your iPhone, let's say you're commuting from school to home and you want to study on the way, it's very important to sync, and sync is only possible if your account is linked. So always sync them, because sometimes syncing takes a very long time if you have images. And it's just very important to really follow it through. Ankis are only useful if you do them every day and if you spend enough time on them. They're an amazing way of studying. They're an amazing way of learning. They genuinely, like, I don't know, some genius person made them. I should probably know the name, but you know, I'm here promoting for free, obviously. Like, something else I want to point out before I go in to show you guys my Anki deck is that Anki is based on space repetition. Space repetition is extremely important. That's how your memory is consolidated. That's how you actually remember. Just because you've read a book today and you feel like you remember the text you've read doesn't mean you remember anything. And why the space repetition is so important, because it really is scientific in a sense that this is how your brain memory works. You need spaced repetitions. You need to refresh the information in order for you to remember. So use Ankis. They're absolutely amazing. Let me quickly show you guys how to do add-ons before I head back to my decks to show you a couple of my Anki cards. And there you go. Here you have add-ons. As you can see here, I think for me it just works automatically because I don't think it adds these add-ons across profiles specifically. I think it just adds it to the actual application. So that's why I have all of them here, and that's why I even told you guys you won't see these things the same way when you download it for the first time. I think some of them I don't even use. Some of them are like even disabled from what I know. Make it harder to quit is definitely disabled. Like I thought that was a cool thing, and then I realized it's just a waste of time. So for example, image occlusion enhanced is an add-on. I will show you guys. I actually have no idea how to get. Wait, config? No, not config. View add-on page. Here's the image occlusion enhanced. You go down, here's the code, and you can just go back to your Ankis where you click, let me just show you once again. You click tools, you click add-ons, you click get add-ons, type in the code, obviously not letters, code, and then you click OK. If you don't know which add-on you want, but you want an add-on, because why not, you click browse add-ons. Here are all the add-ons available. You can test them all out if you're bored. I was definitely bored. And like, I mean, I got some from my friend as well because she was using them and I was like, oh my god, it is so cool. So which are the ones I would definitely recommend? Image occlusion enhanced. I will link the link below. Link the link. Importing Anki old. You might not need it. I needed it because there were some Ankis available on like this the drive of students, or whatever. Basically, like if you download Ankis online, sometimes if it was from the old Anki type, it might not work on your Anki if you're using the newer version, and this helps to basically import the old ones to the new ones while making them work. I love remaining time for Anki. I would definitely recommend. I would show you how it works right now, so we don't waste our time. We click MCB, we click study. See this thing on top? I'm telling you, as a fact, this is false. This is not a good estimation. But just like the estimation on your GPS doesn't always work perfectly, at least it's a good estimation. So something I can tell you, it is estimated time for completion. Use it because I find it sometimes frustrating when I'm like, oh my god, I still have 300 Ankis, but the thing tells me that I'm doing it at a good enough speed that I will finish in the next 2 hours. I'm fine with that, you know. And also helps you to kind of sort them through, maybe filter them out in order for you to not get so frustrated. Let's go back. Review heat map. I want to say this is the one I also prefer a lot. Review heat map is, I think this is the one. I don't want to lie. Yes, this is review heat map. Basically what it is, it tells you what is your streak, how many days you've studied, how many cards do you study in a day, like, you know, what is the percentage, longest streak, current streak, and this is a separate one. I think might be the same one, no freaking idea. Let me just show you mine real quick. Just forgot how to switch profiles. Nice. So I go to mine, and don't mind the fact that I have a few. It just sometimes things get complicated. Let me quickly run you through my Ankis so that you guys kind of get it. And yes, don't get overwhelmed by this 9999. It's way more. It just shows you as 999 because it can go higher than that. This is maybe what your Ankis will look like. Also, don't look at my streak. It's horrible. I have been a bit down recently, and I kind of want to make a separate video about the downsides of med school that obviously you can find anywhere on the web, and if you search it up on Google as well, but shit can get frustrating, you know. So like here you can see, obviously, like I've been doing a little better throughout the semester, and completely horribly I didn't even use it before, so like it's a bit of a bullshit. But this is yearly overview, which is kind of stupid because Like, who needs a yearly overview? But whatever, Let me just quickly show you some of the cards that I've used personally. I really like the example of anatomy for my first semester, because this is, I think, the place where I've used a shitload of different types of Ankis and they worked. So let's do macroanatomy 1. I click it. Yes, these numbers are frustrating, and I will show you something that you can also do in order to make it a little better, but let's just study now. You can just add an image. This is the basic card type. You type in what your question is, you add a number, you have an Anki card. Easy, right? Then this is as well like a basic card. I used to do them like by hand because like I thought it was a little easier, and then I found out that I could do image occlusion and my life became so much easier from there on. Let me search up for cards for you guys so that it's just easier to show. Let's go down. We will go to note types and we'll go to Cloze. Here's an example of a card. As you can see here, these are blue. Sorry. These are blue because they're also links, and these are blue because they're close. So here's a question, right? Atropine is blah, blah, blah. Used to treat blah, blah, as well as some types of what? This is an example of Cloze, a very nice example of Cloze, matter of fact, because you can hide these parts as well. Because what if you want to know certain types of what, right? Used to treat like what, and you can hide these, and you can hide them all together. You can hide these questions, and I'm assuming they're hidden as well because it looks like they are. They can be, for example, like one type of Cloze and another type of Cloze. And here, when you check the answer, it just shows you as blue. This is the answer that was hidden. It's a kind of Cloze card. Basic I've already showed you guys. Let's do image occlusion. I've already showed you this one, but this is just an example of the cards I've created. This is what hide one, guess one looks like. You might have all of them hidden, but just only one will appear as hidden. So what is the mean length? You should know it. Oh, sorry, wrong key. This is the answer, and of course, if you got it right, you got it right. I mean, of course, basic reversed. This is your basic reversed. I use it for Hungarian a lot. You can see it here. It's in my deck for Hungarian. Type in the answer. I have some for histology. And that's basically it. Once again, they do look hella frustrating. There is a way to make them a little less frustrating. There is a way to create a custom study session. So here, when you click custom study session, you will have cards that you've added personally. As you can see, I haven't really used that much because like I don't really like custom study sessions. I prefer to be like, okay, I have this amount of cards to study, I study them. That's it, period. Like sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. You can build it for whatever you need it for. Basically, you can create a custom study session and you choose which cards you want. You can limit the amount of cards you want, and then you can do like oldest first or not, and then you can even search by tag. So let's say you don't want to study specifically medical chemistry, but you want to study by tag, and let's say the tag is I don't know, let's say exam. Let's say you posted a few different Anki cards on different one of these decks that have all the tag exam in them, and then you type in custom study session. For me right now, I don't know why it's not letting me rebuild it. Usually this works. Yeah, I don't know why it's not really. I don't know why it's not showing it. But generally, like if you have additional information about this, I can post it. But I really don't know much about it. I use it sometimes and then I get hella confused with it and I just stop using it. There's another way of doing it. So let's suppose we want to study anatomy, and here you see you have 807 cards that you haven't touched, and you've learned 14. You click options on this little like a settings bar right next to the one deck that you want to study. And here you will see that there are certain options for multiple cards. We want specifically this card because default is what you use for all of your cards, but you can use a specific one to study for. Let's say Maybe it would be a little easier if we just like did default for now, because like I don't want to complicate it for you guys. You can select specific ones. Initially yours is not going to look like this. From what I remember, I think it's like 1000 or something, maybe even less. Maybe I can even check it in the other one, but I always put it for 999 because I feel like it's the most efficient, which means that you will study all of your cards. Here you can see the new cards. I usually don't change this. Maybe you can change it if you want. You don't have to. Kind of explains to you what they are and how many days you want to wait before showing a card again. I think the default setting works for me perfectly and you don't need to change it. Here you can see whether you want to have oldest cards first and then the new ones, which can be very useful. Let's say you haven't touched the material in a while. I prefer random because sometimes as I'm studying, I'm touching on different cards, and sometimes it's just way easier to study for an exam like this, because obviously, the examiners aren't just going to ask you the card that you've, let's say, created a month ago. They can ask you anything, and sometimes it's just a little more useful for me. And then you can bury, you can have add-ons, obviously, and the rest of the stuff, some people added it, but I really don't. I like the defaults and I'm completely fine with it. I think that's about it. You can see here also, when you click this, you can rename the deck. So if you've created a deck and you don't like the name and you've messed up or something, you can always rename it. You can export it and delete it. Don't forget that deleting it, I don't think we'll delete it from the web if you've synced it, but that's quite complicated. So like always make sure you really don't need the deck if you're deleting it. Exporting it, when you do, you have multiple options here. Usually I just choose the Anki deck package, and then you can select which ones you want to include. Not sure if you can add multiple ones. I think you can only choose one. And then make sure to always include scheduling information, because that will be the scheduling information you've used so far, and if you want to send it to somebody, they may confuse them and you don't want that. So only just include media, because if you have images, they won't be transported if you don't have the include media check mark. And that's about it, really. I don't think there's anything else. I'm getting quite tired of talking for so long, but I really hope this was useful. I didn't want to make this video this long, but I did want you guys to get a little bit of an idea of what Ankis look like, how to create them. Many people will send you theirs, and it's quite nice as well. I use multiple cards sent to me by other people, but I think in long term, sometimes for certain subjects, it's just much easier to use your own. And getting a hang of these cards, especially if you use the easy way that I've described to you, I think is quite fast and easy. If you guys have any additional questions, feel free to always send me any questions, and I'm always happy to help. As you guys know, if you have any additional questions for Ankis, how to create them, maybe you need additional help, I'm very happy to help. But also don't forget that I think pretty much anyone on the web right now knows at least a little bit about creation of Ankis, and maybe somebody can explain it even better than me. And I'm sure about that, matter of fact. I'm sure there are people who will explain it better than me, people who do them better than me for sure, because I take the easy route. So I'm really hoping this helped. Don't forget to sync your Ankis and enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope this was helpful. And if you're during the exam, if you're in the exam period right now, good luck to you in your exams. And if you're just thinking of applying to med school, don't just joking though, just joking. Definitely follow your dreams. Med school is hard, and I can do a separate video on that, but with whatever hardships it comes with, including the exam period, you can do this. Anyone can do this if you really put the work into it. And hope you guys have a good day, and see you in the next one. Find useful in my studies, and as well as one additional way of creating your Anki cards that I just recently learned. So first of all, I would like to introduce to you ChatGPT, and if you don't know about it yet, I hope this will be very helpful. I learned about it maybe like around a month ago, and this was completely life-changing. Probably you've seen it on TikTok, maybe you guys have seen it on the news somewhere. I think a lot of people use it nowadays, and maybe it won't even come as a surprise to you, but maybe some of the things will. What ChatGPT basically is an AI that helps you to find answers to your question. So We can take a few examples here, and I would like to also show you guys something that I used ChatGPT for in my studies and how it helps me. So first things first, of course, Ankis are amazing, as I've said to you earlier, and I make these Ankis all the time. But ChatGPT has changed the way I make Ankis completely, because first of all, it is a way better search engine than Google and any other search engines there are. Just so much better, because it gives you the information. You don't have to search 500,000 different websites, and it's just so much easier. I will show you an example of something that ChatGPT can do and how I use it in my studies. So let me just clear this out for us to have like a clean slate. So we're gonna just go ahead and open a text. Here's our text. We're just gonna copy it. It's just basically one of the notes. It doesn't matter. You can type in more like copy the entire chapter of the book and copy it here. And let's say we want to say, hey, like, can you make multiple choice questions from this text for me? And then you go like boom, boom, and you basically insert the text. There it is. You send it, and it will be like, okay, what are the microRNAs? Once it's done, you can then say, can you please give me answers? And it will give you the answer like 1A, 2B, whatever, blah, 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 you know, the usual stuff. So the cool part that I really want to talk to you guys about is that this is great. You have a whole question. But what you can do, you can add it to your Ankis. And so far I've talked about the basic, I've talked about Cloze, I've talked about image occlusion, but I would also want to talk to you guys about this one additional way of making Ankis. This is basically a multiple choice Anki creation. Maybe way more time consuming than the rest of them, because I was trying to tell you guys about like what are the easiest ways, like what is the fastest ways to make your Ankis, just for you to, you know, go through it. And then you just go to it, you just start doing them, you don't waste your time, and that's amazing. However, sometimes, you know, you maybe want to put a little more time into it just because you want them to look better, you want to study better, maybe you want to study more efficient, and maybe you even have more time. So I will show you guys real quick how it's done. I'm not going to complicate anything. So here, when you are in the note type, you can type in all-in-one note type, and if you don't have it, don't forget that you can always add these note types. So for example, all-in-one Anki note type. It's that simple, like literally just search it up. Then you have multiple choice for Anki. You can even like learn about it here. And generally, I think most of the times, if you have downloaded Ankis before, you should like have them already there. But basically, like, you know, generally they're just there. But if they're not there, right here, there's an add-on. Basically, you just copy it, and you go again to Anki. Let's close this one. We don't need it right now. You go to, let me open Anki. Then you go to Add-Ons. And you here, for example, would get add-ons, type in the code, and you will have your add-on, like I mentioned before. So you basically do the same thing. You do the same thing for this code. I can leave the link if you guys would like that. And so let's go back. Going back. So we made our multiple choice, right? So we've created this question. What are microRNAs? You've chosen your node type, which is all-in-one. You click choose. Amazing. You choose your deck. Make sure you do. I like to use tags for this one as well, because I feel like it's just so much easier like this. And I'm seeing like multiple choice because it's just simple. And then if I need to search it up, I can search it up. Because I don't have that many, it's just easier for me. So let's say we have a question, what are microRNAs? I will run you guys very quickly through this. It's not at all complicated. You can add a title. It's not necessary. Let's say you want to know what the title of overall this topic is, and let's say it's the formation and I'm great at spelling, as you can see, formation and regulation of microRNA, whatever, right? Just a topic. Then you can have Q-type. I honestly did not go into much detail of what these are. I know that you just type in 2 and it works. Simple. You know, like life is already hard enough. Let's not complicate it more. So then you have question 1. And obviously I'm just copy pasting this shit and then like just cutting it. And it's just so much easier for me this way. And I know like if you are not as lazy as me, you can type it in, but time. So we have 3 answer choices, right? Usually it actually gives 4. I don't know why I did this time, but whatever. Our answer choice correct one is A. Here where you see answers, you don't just paste this one here. You go 1 0 0. Basically what it will do is giving the right answer choice to this one, and these will be wrong. However, if let's say 2 of the answer choices are correct, 1 and 3, let's say you're creating them yourself, you can do that as well, like no problem at all. You don't have to like have ChatGPT do it for you. It's, I think, even better if you create your own questions, because I feel like many times when you do put in that time to create your own questions, it just becomes so much better. I prefer to get help sometimes because I tend to be a big procrastinator and I just think it's just much easier for me. So here again, we have the right answer choice 1, 2, 3. 1, and then we have 2 and 3 as zeros. You can have an extra, you can have a source if you want an additional link to it or something, but you don't have to. So we have our question, let's edit. So we've added it. I just want to show you guys what it will look like. So we go here, I just will update it real quick. I'll give you guys a preview. Wait, not the beginning. Why is it not doing the thing? It's supposed to be doing the thing. Okay, here it is, preview. This is what it will look like. It looks very nice and neat, and obviously like I just couldn't bother to remove the highlighter, so this is how it will look like. And then of course you click like what is the correct answer, and the right one is the correct, the green are wrong, and here you are. Easy way to make your multiple choice questions. Let me just quickly hop back in to our chat at GPT. So I will show you guys a few examples of why I really prefer this over anything else. Let's choose something a little more complicated. Let's do this one. It's just pretty vague, right? So we will do, how does microRNA regulate gene expression? In case you guys are wondering, this is molecular cell biology and I'm studying for the exam. So what ChatGPT will do, it will give you the answer. Usually pretty short, but sometimes it gives a little bit more elaborate answer. But as you can see, it writes everything down. Like it regulates gene expression through the process called RNA interference, and when blah 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 happens, right? And let's say you don't understand something, and then you can be like, can you tell me more about RNAi, let's say, and it will like go into, and you see like I misspelled this, like completely misspelled it, and it still understands it completely perfectly, and it does this thing for you, and it's just absolutely amazing. Now let me explain to you why I do prefer this over a regular Google search. We're just gonna go straight forward. How does microRNA? First of all, let's go back here, let's read. How does it regulate gene expression? We can see through the process called RNA interference, right? And I know it's correct because first of all I've studied for this, but needless to say. And here you see, it just tells you that microRNA are short non-coding RNA, regulate gene expression, and then what they bind to and what they do, but not how. It doesn't tell you how. And if you pay attention to this, this is a freaking research article. If you go down, another research article, I have no freaking, another research article, another one, and there's nothing. You will never find like a Wikipedia for this page, like a Wikipedia page for this, you know, and it's just a whole mess, and you will spend hours searching for this stuff. I have no freaking idea what database this thing uses, but it's amazing. Like, look at this. It just gives you all of the things you need. And let's say I want to do the same question. Bullet points, short. It's just that simple. They do like literally bullet point the stuff for you. So you'll be like, okay, keywords. What are the keywords? Like key sentences. Be specific. Transcribed and processed. Binds to specific mRNA molecule through complementary base pair binding. And then we know like this is what it does. And that's it. And you can you create some questions for me on this topic? Sure, here you go. And it just gives you freaking questions for it. And you can test your knowledge. And it's just, honestly, if they make this thing paid, I'm fine with paying for this, because it has made my life so much easier. Because I feel like many things that you study in med school, and sometimes maybe not even med school, like it can apply to you anywhere. Like I feel like Anki's overall, first of all, are a very good study, I don't know, study technique for anything, languages included, and this, for example, helps you study with Ankis, and not just with Ankis, but like I feel like sometimes you're just there and like, oh my god, how can I find the answer to my question? I just can't. Nowhere. I cannot find the answer. I've been searching for so long. And this was so true for me for my biochemistry exam. Actually, my friend introduced this to me alongside with the other AI chat. I will show you this one in a second as well. And I remember how I was like, oh my god, I don't know where to find this answer. And of course, some of the answers were in our lectures. And first of all, you cannot remember all of your lectures. Sometimes stuff is not in the book. And sometimes it's just some stuff that will take you hours to find. And here it takes a few seconds. The only problem I do want to point out is that right now, I think it's growing popularity. A lot of people are on it, and sometimes it crashes. Like, it crashes, and then it would be like, sorry, we're busy right now, you can log in later. And that's just such a headache, because if you don't get access to it and you get used to it, and I have gotten used to it a lot, and then you're like, oh my god, what do I use now? Where can I find information? How do I Google stuff, And it's like crazy. That's why I kind of like that I have another option. I'm pretty sure there are way more different like AI chats out there right now, because I know a lot of people are working on them and they're getting very popular right now. But here, for example, like I like that I have an alternative. It's not as good, because even here you can see it gives very short answers, and it cannot really elaborate the same way ChatGPT can. But it works, so let's go for it. We'll just ask it a question. Of course, it answers. It kind of does the same thing. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it like pulled it from different database, because the answers do not match, but it gives you very short, nice answers. And at the times when my ChatGPT is dead, that's the only way I can still do it, and then of course go back to it. I will leave the links to both this one, and don't mind this search. Just something my friend sent it to me with, and I didn't bother removing it. So that's pretty much what it is, and I hope this helps. I really hope this video will be very useful. I know I haven't posted in a while. Don't want to find 1,002 excuses for this, and as you know, I am a medical student, and life can get crazy sometimes. So I'm really hoping to release this video as soon as possible, hopefully maybe today, as I'm recording it, but we will see. And have a good one, guys, and I hope this helps. Please let me know if I can make a video about something else. Of course, it may take some time, but I really try to do my best. And as you know, always, if I don't make a video, you can always hit me up on Instagram. You can send me an email. I know like a few of you guys do send me emails, and I really appreciate it. I really hope that the content I'm making and the fact that I do respond to you guys helps you. And I really hope that, if nothing, this is at least helpful, just a little bit. And thank you very much for continuing to watch my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it, and have a good one.